So, welcome to episode 2 of In My Corner. Leo tutaongelea youth, politics and leadership. Youth, actually let's put it this way, youth leadership and governance. So, let's start from what has been happening before we go to the thoughts that I think. Last year, in the month of June, we had protests against the finance bill of 2024-2025. And the protests were led by the young people. People label it as Gen Z protest, but there are people like myself who was a millennial who took part in them. Even older people in Gen X and what, but it was generally a youth-led protest. Then, after protested, it was happening on Tuesday and Thursday. Then there was the 25th where the protesters breached the not breached, they entered parliament, and that was the height of it. And we saw the president dissolving quote unquote cabinet. We saw him rejecting finance, and I'm using the quote unquote rejecting the finance bill. Tukaona pia alitry kukani kama anasikiza protesters, but all along later on he came to learn that he was reinventing his political journey for 2027. So after that we had the cabinet, and we had when the cabinet was being renamed, we saw the same names, just an alteration kidogo with bringing in experts from ODM. And then we saw the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, the leader of Democratic Citizen Party, DCP. Right now we saw him being impeached as the deputy president then. And then we saw a lot of broad-based government, where UDA and ODM have come together with a 10-point agenda to in a framework to work together. We've seen a lot of things. Then we went to 2025 this year, where in June again we had the protest, which were violent, and which were violent from the government side, from the government institutions, the police, we saw the executive, we see orders being given. So this time round, the finance bill was passed 2025-2026, if I'm not wrong, or finance one as incorrect. And we saw a lot of betrayals which happened from June last year to this year. Betrayals. We saw a youth leader, a youth protester who shifted allegiance and joined the ODM party, and now is an ODM youth leader. We saw somebody who was showing us projects which had stalled a youth, but ended up looking like he's extorting the citizens' money to contribute to his cause, whereas it's just money he's looking for, as purported, as perceived by people. Then something happened just recently, this year, this last 2 weeks or 3, this month, but let's say this month, we saw Nepal. We saw other countries following in the youth-led protest, but I'll use one country which happened recently, that is Nepal. Nepal, we saw the protest led by the youth. They went up to the prime minister's residence. The prime minister escaped and resigned, and we saw them within 6 days of protesting and being on the streets, and the army trying to try and get control of the people. We saw at the end they did an election through, is it called what, the online platform, the name has escaped my mind, and tuko na mayouth wamefanya voting online na wakavote for CJ. I think it was the former CJ who fought for corruption, a 73-year-old woman. He voted for that for that CJ, for the CJ, and the CJ has named interim cabinet members and has declared, I think, elections will be held in March next year. So I had people asking, the young people, you see, it is possible. We could have done away with, we could have gotten these people out of power, put people in place, and started all over again our life. I started a new journey, politically and governance. And I thought to myself, are we really ready for that? Tuko ready? Tuko ready to sacrifice to fikia hapo? Not compromise, sacrifice. Because if you look at hizi vitu zote in Nepal, how they did it, hao watu waliamua shughuli zao zote zimesimama. Kubali tu, hatuko mali, shughuli zetu kama tutazisimamisha zitasimamishwa na venye tu life inaendelea. And they stopped everything and went to the streets. They did what they had to do, and they now have an interim government that what decide on their leaders who they want, who the interim government that will take care of them until March pale watachagua now the leaders that they are supposed to. And hiyo kitu iliniambia there are people hapa Kenya, shida moja, it is not even betrayal. It is not betrayal by the people, by the people who looked like they were a bit more vocal than the others. The biggest problem tuko nayo, shida moja tuko nayo kubwa ni tunataka tu protest jana usiku tuende Habanos. Tunataka tu protest leo, kesho tuingie job, tuingie hustle zetu. Yani a protest is an event, it's not a journey. We want to protest today and change today, and tomorrow we are back. So today tulikuwa tumepause, tulikuwa ka holiday, let me put holiday quote unquote, and kesho life endelee, of which that is one thing that tunafail. That's why we can't change systems, kwa sababu we are thinking of vile bado tutalive in our comforts and still change. The same way tunasemanga tuwezi change life yako bila ku get some level of uncomfortability. That's the same way with the systems. Huwezi change systems without some level of uncomfortability. Si tutoke tu kwa streets tu na to shout one time Kasongo, Kaongo, whatever, hizo vitu zote. It goes beyond that. Inaenda pali inafika lazima tufanye what we are supposed to do as citizens. We are supposed to make sure our governance system is working. Na kama wale leaders wako haifanyi work, waende, we should push to that level. Na kupush si kusema ni overthrow. The same way, pale inafika system zimekwama, the people are protesting kabisa, the leaders have to resign. Ndio tukwende that the same way. Also walifanya tu hivyo, systems zilisimama, hakuna story eti kufikiria kama tutaenda Habanos, kama tutafanya nini, kama tutadishi. To first deal na hii situation. Msee ametoka, aya, what next? Ambe umekuja umesema wana nini, wana create order. Aya, order wana create, sisi tunataka tutengeneze interim government kwanza. Si hao watu wameenda, so hatuwezi kugoja ati sijui ABC ifanye elections sijui lini. Let us have an interim government. And I think tuko na so many lawyers wale wamesoma, young people wale wamesoma na ni lawyers that can guide us through how we are going to use that and still remain in the bandwidths of constitution. But hatuko ready. Hiyo ni number one. Number two, wase wengi sana, sasa the youth leaders wale walikuja after hizo protest, wengi they just want the mheshimiwa title. But now masquerade na kusema how wana fight for the justice of the young. Nimeona kitu na hiyo kitu na youth leaders wanataka kukuwa waheshimiwa, na wanataka, if you look at them how they walk with the people who support them, they just do the same as our politicians. Ni venye tu yao ni venye haina pesa. Kama ni bodyguards anataka tembea na majamaa na mgard, anataka nini apande juu ya nini, aanze kuaddress watu, hey wananchi, we like that. Tunapenda hizo ma theatrics sana za politics, tunazipenda. So watu wanaangalia venye nitaingia nikuwe na my own 4x4 nikuwe na chess cars, nikuwe in a big office, in a corner office, unaona vitu kama hizo. That's how we think. That's how the young people, the young leaders wenye tuko nao wanafikiria. Hata wale wanavai for seats, wanavai for hizo seats ndio wa test your power. They want to test that power. They don't want to really need the systems. They don't want to change hizo systems. The young leaders wanataka to change hizo systems. Tunataka tukae tu, we want it to remain the same, ndio tufanye nini, ndio tukue tu kama wale politicians. Then ukiangalia the youth, young people, ukiangalia young people, watu wengi sana tunafanya conmanship, tunarushana, tunaibiana, the same way politicians wanatufanyia tu. We are doing it in our own personal level. Ni mara ngapi tunaingia X unapata sijui watu walikona, kuna stories inaendelea bado, kuna story ya dem alihepa na 100 large ya watu, sio? So tunakoniana, tunafanya hizi mavitu zote, we steal from each other, we fight each other, the same way politicians tunafanya. Na at the end of the day, sisi wenyewe ndio tunaelect the same people, tunaelect the same characters, because we are those characters. Hatutakubali, tunafaa kuchange hiyo character yetu. The third thing is, mimi, in my opinion, youth leaders, the youth of Kenya sasa tuko na chance kubwa sana ya kuchange the system, because hii system tuko nayo, it doesn't work. Mimi sijaielewa why 17-20 billion should line up to vote for one person to be president. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Imagine, we sit down to elect somebody, we go to line up a whole day so that we elect one person to be president. Whereas we could just elect our local leaders and elect the right local leaders with right ideologies, with the ideologies we believe in, and parties that believe in certain ideologies. Those are these parties, they go and give us a leader and we continue. Why do we have to line up, mtu atudanganye, atuombe vitu zetu tunataka kusikia kwa masikio during a whole campaign period from next year, by the way, from next year May, June, all the way to election. So imagine, we waste a whole time kusikiza ati watu, some individuals wanataka to line up on a Tuesday on August, second Tuesday of August, kumchagua. Does it make sense? For me it doesn't. For me it doesn't. So we have to sit down. Tuko na lawyers, tuko na watu wamesoma, kuna watu wamefanya research, kuna watu wanafanya nini. We should sit down, not civic education ya ile kijuju, a deep one where we sit down, we have arguments, we counter arguments, we have, so that we get best ideologies. Lastly, we need to pre-build a party from the scratch, not somebody, one individual. Us youth people can build parties from the scratch. We build parties with this ideology, and we decide which ideology is better for the country. But tusipofanya hizo vitu, mi kwangu, mi naona, and I'm ready to have a debate with anyone on how we can, or have a discussion. Let me not debate, a discussion on how we are going to change these systems. Hata tuchague nani 2027, we are cooked. Look at the people when they are confronted in the united opposition. They'll just throw a few breadcrumbs, keep quiet, but hawata change anything. Status quo, it'll remain. So the youthful leadership that is there, bring the young people together. Let us have discussion on changing the system, changing it completely and overhauling it overhauling this system and changing it completely to something new that will benefit the people. The current system is there to benefit the politicians whether we like it or not. And kama tuna remain na hiyo, ujue any youth leader anataka kusimama na hiyo system, ujue anataka tu kuwa your oppressor, the next oppressor. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. It's midweek, tupatane Saturday for the weekly recap. I don't know kama tutaita weekly recap ama tutaita mazungumzo ya wiki, whichever. We'll think of a name before we get there. That's all from my corner.